Hello and welcome to my capstone video presentation. My name is Dafina Pareva and I am a student at Kennesaw State University. I am also a sixth grade English language arts teacher at E.T. Booth Middle School. This is my fourth year there, and I am currently in the last semester of the graduate program for instructional technology at Kennesaw State. A little introduction on myself and just background knowledge on when I began this program. I started the program at the height of, really a little bit prior to the height of COVID-19, the pandemic, but I had my baby right at the height of the pandemic, and so parallel to school and motherhood, apart from all the things, the professional things that this program taught me, I took away two wonderful life lessons, and those two things were to use time intentionally and to let go of perfectionism because it just isn't a thing. So my capstone project revolves around online professional development on Canvas Studio to create student engagement, and it derives from the problem of the current model of professional development in which my school utilizes. It seems that the digital tools that teachers were being exposed to, there seemed to be more focus on the actual tools being promoted rather than the instructional uses of those tools. There seemed to be a lack of follow-up. There was no ongoing training session or anything like that provided past just the initial session where the product is introduced. We have a little bit of time to practice it, and then we are sent on our way to go and attempt to use these things in our own classrooms. And so as a new teacher, still fairly new teacher, at the time I was a new teacher, it seemed very difficult to maintain just the newness of teaching on top of everything that was being taught to us in PD. So the need was that teachers seemed to need some sort of ongoing training session for how to use digital tools so that we could maximize student learning inside of our classrooms. The foundation for the capstone project, I used Jim Knight's Impact Cycle to train teachers on how to use Canvas Studio effectively within their classrooms. Some of the other research that I looked into that prompted and really navigated this project forward were Hutchinson and Woodward's examining the technology integration planning cycle model of professional development to support teachers' instructional practices, and Player's revamping professional development for technology integration and fluency. This project was initially supposed to be used for all of sixth grade professional development, meaning all content areas. However, due to unplanned barriers, it became a project that focused only within the ELA sixth grade professional learning committee. So the plan was to first figure out a tool that would work with maximizing student learning, making sure that we were continuing to innovate and include technology within the classroom. And so I chose the digital tool Canvas Studio, which is actually embedded inside of our learning management system that we currently use at my school. And I chose it for two main reasons. One of them was because I felt as though it had a lot of potential to incorporate blended learning, which my school has spent a lot of time training us to do. And then the other reason was because it felt like we had very little training on this actual tool. It was introduced to us in a 45-minute PD, and that was really all the training we got on it. So I introduced this idea to the sixth grade PLC, and then began working on activities to kind of help build this project. And so after the tool had been decided upon, I developed and designed instructional materials for the initial meeting where I planned to introduce it and to talk more about it with my PLC. Some of the materials included PowerPoint presentation on using Canvas Studio as an instructional tool, and instructions for how to upload videos, record videos, and add to collections. So an initial meeting to introduce my capstone project was held, where I shared my thoughts on Canvas Studio and how we could use that as an instructional tool for just the various ELA units that we are required to teach throughout the year. And then I developed and designed ELA content to be used within those units. And this was done apart from me creating an initial one to model to teachers. I also had them practice by creating videos using Canvas Studio so that we could all use the tools. So practice was done with each individual teacher, and where each individual teacher created some form of Canvas Studio lesson to supplement our unit. And then I continued to implement professional learning sessions by speaking and coaching the teachers within my PLC on how we could make these better, because one of the wonderful things about Canvas Studio is that we can use it for synchronous learning sessions as well as asynchronous learning sessions. And that was one of the really cool things that we were able to utilize for our classes after we began really digging and getting into how to use Canvas. And then apart from that, the activities within my PLC, we reflected on, or I rather reflected on this plan by having teachers work on a survey so that I could get their opinions on it. And I also was able to collaborate with my ILS about professional learning development in general. So the evaluation plan, I used the survey to figure out kind of where teachers stood with Canvas Studio. Out of everyone who completed the survey, everyone confirmed that they had heard of Canvas Studio. When I asked them how often they were using it, a lot of them responded with none. So the question was, how many times in the last 2 weeks have you used Canvas Studio? As you can see, 54.5% said they weren't using Canvas Studio. And then 36% were saying that they were using it at least 1 to 2 times. And then 3 to 5 times was a short 9%. One of my interests in doing this project was to know if the ongoing one-on-one coaching sessions would actually prompt teachers to incorporate the use of Canvas Studio in their classrooms. And while I didn't get any yeses, I did get some maybes, a good number of maybes. So that shows potential that with I wouldn't say mandatory ongoing sessions. We're all adults and we want to further our learning on our own. So the maybe was really a pretty big a point in the correct direction for me in terms of this project. These were some of the feedback. This was some of the feedback that I received from the teachers on their experiences prior to coaching sessions. And really the feedback varied. I had some who said that they weren't planning to use it, didn't use it in the past, probably won't use it in the future. And then I had a few, like for example, the one at the bottom of the screen that says that while they feel like Canvas Studio is a decent tool to use. They felt like they had other resources that they felt more comfortable using. So my experience and my results were far from what I expected. At the start of this school year, we were told that we would now be a 2-to-1 school, where we were previously, and when the project was proposed, a 1-to-1 school, which worked out really in my favor. And then shortly after school began, a few short months later, we were told that we were going to get rid of even more technology in our school. So apart from 10 laptops that teachers were allotted in the classroom and a class set of iPads, technology was just quickly dwindling. And this is where I noticed a major shift in attitude from the teachers, understandably so, because where we had once worked so hard during COVID times to put everything online so that students had the resources that they needed, now we were being told that that was being taken away. And so that was a major hurdle to get past. So my capstone reflection, I did encounter many barriers. However, largely looking at this program, I feel as though I really was able to strengthen my skills in communication, collaborating with other teachers, designing things instructionally, and managing, and just having a better understanding overall on digital tools and resources that I can use to support other educators with. And beyond that, I feel as though it's important to note that all of these are coming from research-based strategies, tools, and resources. And I feel like I have a very solid understanding of that, so that when I do help other teachers and whenever I am coaching them through the incorporation of technology within their classrooms, I'm doing it in such a way that's already been proven it works. So overall, I would say that this experience was a positive one, despite the barriers that I did encounter.